I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. We're going to dive right into the biggest true crime mystery right now. And I call it a mystery because this case has not been solved. No one has been arrested for the murder of Madeline Soto, who was reported missing, then found several days later. There's a suspect, but still no arrest. That suspect is Stephan Stearns. Well, he's been arrested, but not for the murder, for all the images that were on his phone. Images of him allegedly abusing this little girl for years, since she was 8. She disappeared and then was found dead after turning 13, just after her birthday party. So I want to go through the timeline because tonight we've got some interesting developments in all of this. So let's start with the timeline. Sunday, February 25th. This is when Madeline Soto celebrates her 13th birthday. Mom isn't there. Mom isn't at the party, but it's at a relative's house. We believe grandma's house. But Jen Soto, her mom, couldn't be there because she was working. Now we move ahead to the next day, Monday, February 26th. This is when Madeline Soto apparently goes missing, right? She's reported missing. 8:40 a.m., Stephan Stearns claims to have dropped her off about 0.4 miles from Hunters Creek Middle School. At 4:30, her mother, Jen, goes to pick her up, then learns that she never made it to school. At 8 p.m., that's when Jen, the mom, reports Madeline missing. And Jen Soto tells authorities that she saw Madeline at 8 o'clock that morning getting dressed for school, according to documents obtained by WFTV. Now, let's move forward one day here. Madeline Soto, Stephan Stearns sit down with WFTV for an interview on Tuesday. Stearns appears very emotional about Madeline's disappearance, claiming the worst part is just not knowing. Jen states that the last time she saw Madeline or spoke to Madeline was Sunday night. So you have the Sunday night, but then you also have the Monday morning. She's telling them that she saw her getting dressed. Wednesday, February 28th, the search really begins for Madeline. Several agencies combined to aid in the search. 50 members of the emergency response team are present. Later that day, on the 28th, Stephan Stearns is arrested on charges unrelated to her death or her missing, but 2 counts, sexual battery and possession of materials to sexual performance by a child. This is the stuff they find on his phone, which he said he accidentally did a factory reset on, right? Let's move forward. Thursday, February 29th, police announced they believe Madeline is already dead and named Stearns as the prime suspect in her murder. They believe she was never dropped off at that school or at that church parking lot. They explained that Stearns was spotted ditching her backpack and school-issued laptop on that morning, 7:35. They also claim that she was spotted no longer alive in his car returning to their complex. It's a gated complex at 8:19 a.m. Friday, March 1st, Madeline's body is discovered off of Hickory Tree Road, 17 miles from Madeline's home. Police say that Stephan Stearns was spotted by a witness, someone who called Crime Stoppers, the crime line, was spotted nearby changing a tire on the afternoon that she disappeared. And those two areas, we've been there very close to one another, right across the street. Friday, March 12th, 60 more charges filed against Stephan Stearns, 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, 5 counts on sexual battery on a child 12 to 18, 7 counts lewd lascivious molestation, and 40 counts of the unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child 10 or more times. Hundreds and hundreds of these images on the phone that he claimed had an accidental factory reset on it. So that brings you up to speed on the timeline, right? But there's, like, when could this have happened? What was Stephan Stearns doing, like, before the alleged drop-off? Well, take a look at this picture. This is from an app called Telegram. This is really significant this piece of information that we got from Gray Hughes Investigates. Now, it's from an app called Telegram. What is the Telegram app? It's a messaging app focused on speed and security. Over 700 million monthly active users. You can send messages, photos, videos, and files of any type. You can create groups of up to 200,000 people. You can create channels for broadcasting to unlimited audiences. You can contact people through phone number or username, and it uses end-to-end encryption, ensuring they have no data to disclose. You get that? So your data doesn't go to the app. So when the search warrant comes for the app, they have nothing to give to authorities because of this encryption. And they say, to this day, we have disclosed 0 bytes of user data to third parties, including governments. Okay? So it's pretty secure, this Telegram. So what does this all mean? Let's try to put together this app, Stephan Stearns, and the timeline. My special guest joining us from Portland, Oregon, podcaster Gray Hughes from Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Gray, thank you so much for being here. When you first alerted me to this, I think my response was wow, but let's put this together for the folks at home right now. That image that you sent, explain to me, to the audience, the significance of that image and what it tells you.
Well, if you look back at the image, there's a time of 4:49 and 5 seconds, I believe, but I think it's Greenwich time. So you have to subtract 5 hours from that because Florida is in -5, -5. So that would make it 11:49 p.m. on the day of the party. So it was late in the evening. Now we also know that.
So late in the evening. Let's take this one step at a time.
Yeah.
So I know you know this stuff like the back of your hand. So it's 11:49 at night that he would be. Does this mean that he's on this app?
Yes, it's actually the last time he used it was 11:49 on the 25th, the night. The party was probably earlier in the day, and that was later in the evening.
Okay, so he's active on this app. So let's think about this for a second. What, from your research and investigation about this app, there's tons of uses for this app. Corporations that don't want their information divulged anywhere. People sharing information that they don't want third parties to have access to. It's a secured way. But like anything else on the internet, like there's people that come in and use it for their own reasons. So what are some of the nefarious uses that potentially an app like Telegram would be helpful for people who want to do secretive things?
Well, I mean, there were in an article that I read, it was absolutely disturbing. On Telegram, there's a group called 764 out there where they get a child to send a photograph, and then they use that photograph as leverage against them to do all kinds of crazy things, and that's their goal. They have hundreds of people in there cheering the rest of them on, trying to get the photos, trying to get them. They even have the victims carve their names into their skin of the users so that they can, and then take pictures of it. I mean, it's really one of the most disturbing things I've ever read, really.
So on this app, and trying to understand this, because my guess is, like me, most of the folks at home have never used this app, aren't familiar with it. Can you go, is it like live conversations? Are you messaging each other? How do these groups form on an app like this if they want to get together to exchange things that aren't 100% legal, which are like illegal, stuff that you wouldn't want to send over a text message or a group chat?
I think it's kind of similar to like Discord, where there's groups that you can go on there, but you have to be invited to go there. I remember during the conflict with Israel and Hamas, you could there was places you could actually see the body camera footage and see what really happened there. I mean, it was absolutely disturbing stuff, but you can see that people uploaded it there, and there was no way to track, who uploaded that or where it came from. And I just feel like what's amazing to me is I think I've been woken up in the last 2 years, maybe even since, the Keegan Kline and the Delphi case, where I think there's so many more predators out there than a lot of us really realize when we're just sitting around, going day to day. There's predators everywhere. Now, something I think is interesting is that, I did 2 interviews with 4 different friends of Stern's, and the thing is one time he filmed one of his friend's mothers, so he was into voyeurism, and I did a show the other night where we talked about how voyeurism sometimes leads to larger things. And then another time he put a camera up in a bathroom and filmed his roommate's girlfriend. Okay, and he stored it on a server in the house, and his roommate discovered the folder that those were in. So this is something that seems to be sort of evolving over time, and it looks like it's turned into something greater.
So let's now think about where this is falling, right? So this is just before midnight. The party, there were pictures that we've seen from the party of her outside, and in those pictures, it's still daylight. So it seems like it wasn't necessarily a party that was going late into the night. It's a school night, so why would it go late on a Sunday? But Jen is out working. Her mother, the grandmother of Madeline, said that Jen was working late and was tired in the morning. So if he's on this particular app, whatever he's sending or sharing or perhaps looking at, it seems because of the nature of this app, there's no way that investigators are ever going to get their hands on it.
Well, it could be, remember, you mentioned earlier that he factory reset the phone, right?
Right.
So he factory reset the phone, and it cleared out all of this information, and he had over 400 images of, child pornography on his phone. Now, were those all of Madeline, or were they from other people? And he was sharing on an app just like Telegram. And here he is at 11:49, right after the party, and right around the time something happened to her. It was either just before that, 11:49, or it was sometime early in the morning, because he's already throwing stuff in the garbage can at 7:35, the laptop and the backpack.
So, number one, the first thing that we've learned for sure, he's up late, right? It's a party, he's
Right.
up late. We're not sure what time Jen gets home, but what we do know is that in the morning, her mother said she was really tired, and they broke out of their normal routine. But I guess the real question tonight, Gray, would be, was this whole thing in the morning some sort of a ruse, that like something happens in the wee hours of the morning or before he goes on this Telegram app and Madeline is no longer alive, and everything that's done the following morning is to make it look like she's dropped off at school?
Yeah, that's absolutely something I was pondering about. I put that in a video. I was just wondering, what is going on? If she was, like, let's say she died sometime early in the morning, did he put her in the vehicle and at 7:35 he leaves? Or are we missing a lot of stuff that law enforcement isn't telling us? Is there a video of his car leaving early in the morning, and then at 7:35 he went and retrieved her and brought her back in the car? Because isn't that one of the things that really is strange to you too, that at 8:19 he's returning with her not alive in the vehicle?
That part is strange, really strange. It makes it makes no sense, except he's got to return from dropping her off. But if he's returning, but he's saying he's dropping her off at 8:40, he's got to know that he's on video. I mean, those cameras are so obvious at the front gate and the back gate. And if she's visible on the video, and his explanation is she was sleeping on the way to school. But why she's sleeping on the way to school, she's sleeping on the way back from school, and then she's sleeping on the way to school again? Like what, what is this? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. The thing is at 8:19 he's coming back. There must be a camera that probably could see her laying down in the back, and they think she's not alive. But what did he do after that? Did he go back to the apartment and just park the car, maybe put a blanket over her or something? Because if she's that visible, I mean, how risky would it be to just park your car and people could just walk by? And then I think it's about 4 hours later that he would have taken off to go put her where she was eventually found. So, man, this is, to me, it's just absolutely bizarre.
It sounds like panic.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like panic.
Yeah.
Right? That whatever was happening, and then whether it's during the course of an assault or whether it's, because we don't have the autopsy results back yet, so we don't know cause, manner of death, but whatever is going on that causes her death, it seems to be a lot of panic, a lot of running around. But to actually drive by the school, because then there's the license plate reader picks him up near the school at 8:10.
Yeah, 8:10,
and then he's coming back with her, visible in the car, at 8:19, and claims to drop her off at 8:40, even though school doesn't start till 9:30. Like, everything is just off. Yeah. Everything is off.
Like the 8:10 time, it almost seems like he's trying to make it look like he took her to school, but then she's in the car when he comes back.
Right.
And if you were right there, why wouldn't you just drop her off? That doesn't make any sense. If you were near the school at 8:10, you would have just dropped her off and then drove home. She wouldn't still be in the car at 8:19, right?
Panic moves is the way I'm seeing it. Gray Hughes.
I agree.
Great to have you on the program. Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Thanks so much for this information as we continue to wait for more of this information from investigators to come out, like the medical examiner's report. We'll see you again, Gray. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
So what does this mean for the murder investigation? What does it mean for Jen Soto? There they are, the think tank, getting ready to weigh in. We'll be right back.
Ion kicks off the National Women's Soccer League, airing all season long.
Sprints to it, takes a shot, she scores! Wow!
Incredible! Yeah.
Look, a new Saturday night destination featuring the best players in the world.
She's on fire!
Oh my goodness!
This is a game changer for sports.
And I shake the ground.
See the full schedule and find where to watch at IONNWSL.com.
Now, we are here on Hickory Road in St. Cloud where Madeline Soto's body was found. And if you take a glance behind me, you see there's not really much to this road. I mean, there's a little flat land on the left, a little brush on the right. It seems like you'd be able to see something from your car as you pass down this road, but it's not a busy road. There's only been 15, maybe 20 cars that have passed by since we've been here for the past half hour or so. And also, there's no security cameras on any of these light posts. But as we continue this way, we are reminded that this actually is where Madeline Soto's body was found by this memorial set up by community advocates, family members, maybe even some friends. Because right back there in that span of trees is where her body was found by police.
All right, so how does all this potential new information about him being on this app into the wee hours of the night before she is reported missing the next day? Let's remind you about some of the evidence here connected to Stephan Stearns in all of this. Remember, he had accidentally reset his phone prior to his interview. 20 allegations of sexual abuse found on his phone. The background matched the inside of Madeline's home where he lived along with Madeline's mother. 40 counts of possessing illegal materials depicting sexual abuse, 10 or more images. That's 400 plus images. Video of Stephan Stearns ditching Madeline's items in a dumpster in the complex at 7:35 a.m. the day she was reported missing. Video of Stearns returning to the complex at 8:19 a.m. with Madeline allegedly dead inside the car. And he's also spotted near the location where the body was found. We were there. It's right across the street. All right, let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight in Delaware, Criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III, who must be getting incorporated right now. Also with us in Stamford, Connecticut, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. All right, great to see everyone tonight. Al, from your secret undisclosed location in Delaware, what does it tell you? What does it tell you if Stephan Stearns is up till midnight on this app, this Telegram app, where everything gets encrypted and whatever goes on there never can be retrieved by the government?
Well, first, Ben, Bona Pasqua for everyone out there. Second of all, I'm pulling an all-nighter. I have a home ec exam tomorrow, so that's why you see the kitchen behind me. And thirdly, what it tells me is that this guy's got a lot of explaining to do. And I don't think he's going to be able to explain any of it. I think there's a real problem for him in this case. They are doing everything perfect with regards to this investigation. They have set it up wonderfully. And all of the inconsistencies and the lies and the problems that this man has weaved himself into is going to just basically be the noose that's going to strangle him. And he deserves to die a horrible death.
Darnell, I'm trying to figure out what's going on that morning. Does it seem to you that he's attempting to set up a scenario where he can say that he dropped her off at school? Like he's driving to the school, he's seen near the license plate 810, 819 he's returning, but the backpack allegedly thrown out at 7:35. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, first of all, I was wondering, did Al find any classified documents in Joe Biden's kitchen in Delaware? I'm sure that's what he's there for.
But wait, I'm sorry. I did find his TJ Maxx card, though.
So there's two words, Vinny, that comes to mind here. Circumstantial evidence and capital offense. As we know, Ron DeSantis has made it a capital offense for any sexual battery crimes for kids under 12. Now, with the situation that we see here, with this drop-off, the sort of weekends at Bernie, maybe he propped up someone in the car. He's trying to cover up the steps. And when you try to cover up the steps, you make it worse sometimes. So it seems like the prosecutors have no choice but to start building a strong circumstantial evidence case around Stephan Stearns. And it seems like the timeline is very, very important. So as he's covering it up, it appears that the drop-off and pickups are not matching. And also, it looks like that he's leaving a lot of trace evidence leading towards his guilt. But the sad part is that we need to find more direct evidence. If not, the jury's going to have nothing but a circumstantial evidence case. And it could be strong, but it's really, you want direct evidence over circumstantial if you can.
If you can, because we've seen it before in Central Florida, by the way, very close to where all this is happening. Jennifer Brandt, the other person everyone's talking about in this is the mother, Jen Soto.
Yep.
So Jen Soto's mother, which is Madeline's grandmother, gave an interview, Spanish-speaking television. We translated it. And she basically explained that morning, Jen was tired because she worked the day before, missed the birthday party, and was tired in the morning. However, Jen told police that she saw Madeline getting changed at 8 a.m. I don't understand how this child's getting ready for school at 8 a.m. if her laptop and her backpack were tossed at 7:35 in the morning into the dumpster. So that doesn't add up to me.
Right. I know it's really inconsistent what she said, and she also corroborated his story about taking Madeline to school, that he did drop her off at the church, which he said, and then somehow, expected her to walk down to the school. She kind of verified all of that originally. So, you wonder what's going on. I know she's not a suspect in the matter right now, but where was she all of this time? And to have a predator like that living in her home, abusing her child allegedly, I mean, what did she know? What was she aware of? Did she have any suspicions? And to allow him to have access to her child, these are the questions I think we're all asking and wondering, how a mom or any parent can sort of allow this to happen. We see it time and time again. Did she just not know, or were there clues? Were there things that she should have been looking at, but maybe was blinded by her relationship with him? I mean, I think these are all the questions that people are asking and want to know, how this could happen.
Al, if Stephan Stearns does get charged with the homicide, I'm still waiting for information to come out, but if that happens, how do you see the mother's role in all of this? Do you see her as a potential co-defendant, maybe some after the fact stuff or maybe before the fact stuff? Or do you see her as the prosecution's star witness who can take you inside that home?
Well, either way, she's compromised with regards to the timeline that she's put forth on this case, which doesn't make any sense and really doesn't work for the way this turned out. So I do think that they will charge her as an accessory, because how did she not know what was going on in her house with these many photographs and all this other kind of stuff going on with this young girl? How did she not know that? I mean, it just doesn't make sense whatsoever. And she should be charged.